The real reason the same players top all the time. Let's talk about it. So, like I said, I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh for 20 plus years. And over this 20 plus years, I done seen things, heard things. I've been in local pro circles. I've pretty much done it all, seen it all. I've done topped events. I done been a premier player in different card games. And there's one thing a lot of people like to say about people who do well alike, myself included. I'm hypocritical right now. Don't judge me, because I'm not gonna lie. I used to say this shit all the time too, until I had to check myself and realize where I was wrong at. So there's a preconceived notion the same people top for two reasons. One is because they're cheating, which cheating does happen at a high level. We see it on stream all the time. There's no point in pointing any in particular situation out. However, with that being said, if it's intentional or unintentional, it's not up for me to decide. I'm gonna leave that for you to decide when you guys watch cheating videos. However, I will say this. A lot of players who top, even the ones who cheat that do it on purpose, they are just really insane at this game. So, case in point, when I used to play Naruto, the Naruto CCG, me and my buddies used to play tests all the time. We would go to our local 24-hour subway and practice from around 6 to 7 p.m. to like 3 to 4 in the morning every single day leading up to big events. A lot of the times when we had our day off, we'll go to our buddy's house, play test at the buddy's house, play some video games, go get lunch, play some more. Then when everyone else got off work around 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 5 p.m., we head to our local Subway, the 24-hour Subway, which is literally, if you guys know the Subway sandwich place, Subway Eat Fresh. We used to sit up. There was one in particular we used to go to. I mean, I'm in Chicago. We don't go there anymore. It's on Western and Addison, right across the street from Lane Tech High School, for you guys that don't know. That was literally me and my team's old, quote unquote, I guess, secret hideout, not so secret place to play test at. And I remember we used to have a guy we had a guy came down here from Minnesota one time visiting family to play test with us at the Subway. It was pretty cool. But my point of bringing that story up is we play tested for hours. And I ain't gonna lie, those are some of the best times of my life. Now, did I have regrets because I wanted to go out and do other things more? Yeah, but at the same time, I was in a relationship. Me and my guys are all in relationships, but we all put in time to the game. What I don't see a lot of players doing nowadays is pitting time into the game, because even when I used to play test at Subway and got results in Naruto, like I got 3 premier tops in that game. I topped every regionals I went to. I've won a bunch of regionals in that game as well. But a lot of the playtests I put into that game, and I put a lot of work into that game. And even though we used to play test at the Subway a lot, I used to go home to this website called tradingcardmint.com. Now, tradingcardmint.com, for you guys that do not know, it was like dueling book for off-brand card games. So one of those off-brand card games was Naruto. They had a Yu-Gi-Oh section on there as well, but at the time, dueling network was already a thing. And it's like, why go to tradingcardmint.com when you can just go, not Trading Card Mint, what am I saying? I forgot the name of the website. It wasn't tradingcardmint.com. I'm confusing it with my sponsor. Don't go to my sponsor's website expecting to play games. But it was like a website. Oh, it was tradecardsonline.com. There we go. Tradecardsonline.com. So anyway, like I was saying, tradecardsonline.com. It was like a pretty much free play section manual, just like how it is for Dueling Book. Not as nice, obviously. It was programmed a little more shitty. However, with that being said, a lot of players for Naruto used to go in there and play Naruto. There was other card games. I think they had like the OG Dragon Ball Z from like the 90s and early 2000s. They even had that wrestling card game that was pretty popular at one point. So it was a lot of things you could play on that website that was just like discontinued card games, things like that. It was a pretty cool website. I wonder if it's still existing now. But anyway, I used to go home from playtesting, my buddies, go to the website, play a little bit randomly against different people, and then kick with my girl and call it a day. And I don't see this a lot with a lot of players nowadays. But you know what I do see though? People buying coaching, people buying spreadsheets, and people, playing dueling book and grinding all day. And that's great. My only thing is though, when you buy coaching, when you buy spreadsheets, and that's cool. I don't know how people do their coaching. I'm not against coaching because I'm one of the guys who originated the idea for Yu-Gi-Oh coaching back in 2017. Like literally, I had an idea for it. I set it up. I got roasted in Zodiac Duelist because I had a hater on my channel said I was trying to scam people. That's a whole nother topic for another day. I just found it odd that nowadays everyone is so accepting of coaching, but back in my day when I tried to do it, and what is it? And it wasn't even for like a big number. I was gonna do it for like what, $20 an hour or whatever, like something simple to help people get better at the game. And I was gonna play test with people and things like that. No, this is not a video about me bringing about my coaching because I don't have time for that. But I will offer it if people want one-on-one coaching or whatever. I guess hit me up on IG. I'm not setting up no matter if you guys are serious. My IG is Rogue Hero Fitness. But anyway, my main point of bringing it up is people do a lot of that stuff, but the one thing they don't do is playtest enough. And a lot of it's not their fault because a lot of people like me, they have lives outside of Yu-Gi-Oh. They go to work, they have kids, they have wives. The community is getting older, they're not getting younger. And the younger guys that play the game, I mean, I see them at locals once a week, but it ain't the same how it is back when I was young. Back in my day, we didn't have many different locals to go to. And I do have a lot of guys in my community that's young that I know that grinds every local tournament for the most part. And I'm pretty sure they do a little things like that. But I don't think people just play enough because I see the misplays in real time. And even myself misplaying in real time a lot. But the only way to get better at the game is honestly just playing. There's not a spreadsheet in the world that's going to help you in the real time when you go to a tournament. Now, obviously, you can learn the combos and things like that, but a lot of that shit you can learn online for free. The only thing you can really do to get better at the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is literally play. I can't tell you guys enough. Play. Not Master Duel. Master Duel is automatic. You need manual labor, thinking, playing the cards. Some people are more physical. Some of you guys like to feel the cards in your hand. And honestly, you just need to get that tournament seat time. That's very important as well. And that's something a lot of pros, a lot of people who top a lot of people who win events have in common. They play so freaking much that playing their deck is like a second nature to them. For example, I see a lot of people online like Triff Gaming, for example. Shout out to bro. Have nothing against him personally. I can tell he playtests his ass off just by his Twitter posts. When I'm online grinding my dueling book, trying to get my rank up, I see him online playing. I'm always seeing him in dueling DB grinder videos, things like that. So I know bro knows this stuff, and I know he playtests a lot. Even DB grinder, for example, he said like in one of his most recent videos, he playtested what 20 hours or 16 hours straight for Alliance Insight format, and this is something a lot of pros or people who do well and are in these inner circles, they do a lot. And the average person just ain't doing that, which is why a lot of people, every once in a while you get a player like myself who top an event, might make top 32, might even get to top 16, and then that's about it. But for the most part, you see a lot of the same people doing good, and that's because they put the work in. Now, granted, if you're a guy like me who play the same deck a long time, this is also why I play the same deck, and I don't change my deck up to the best, hottest deck right away. I don't have time to keep learning decks like that. I got a lot of stuff to do. I'm getting older, and with getting older, you get less patient, you get more tired faster, and you got to start paying attention to other things in your life, like work, things like that. And so when I learn me a deck, I want to play the deck for the format and continue to evolve with it. So that way, if the format changes, I kind of already know the basics of the deck and go from there. But I literally see players, they'll have the best deck, or one of the best decks, and then they'll change their deck like they change their underwear. Literally, every freaking week, change their deck like they change their underwear. And then get pissed when they lose. And that's crazy. Now, obviously, people do this all the time. A lot of people I know personally, if they do this, they don't really care. They just playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For fun. But there's also people I know, I'm thinking about like 3 dudes who changes their decks so much, and then they get pissed a lot. And it's just like, dude, you're not learning your deck. How can you get mad when you're not learning your deck? So I'll say all that to say this, man. The reason why a lot of pros, a lot of the players top a lot outside of the obvious BS that goes on in the community, because it happens in every card game, happens in every industry, honestly, if you really want to get down to it. They simply put in the work, hard work and dedication. They play testing 2 to 3 hours a night, sometimes 8 hours a day, all day. They the ones who really ain't going outside like that, and they putting in the hard work, and it shows the results. Now, obviously, I think some people are just naturally gifted. I think some people can just pick up some cards and things just click with them, and that's why they get their results. But I think a majority of players who actually do well in this game, hard work, dedication, constant play testing, and the number one thing they have out of everything is a solid testing group. Because I say, despite all this the stuff I just mentioned in the video, from playing with your homies, trying to have a life, things like that. If you ain't got a solid playtesting group to bounce ideas off of and or push you to your limits, you will fail. A lot of reasons, a lot of y'all on top, and I'm including this in myself, I don't have a playtesting group. Now, granted, I have a lot of guys I know that are really good at the game, that I play at the locals, and I do a lot of playtesting on Dueling Book for me, and that's a game changer for me personally, but like, a playtesting group can make or break anybody. Now, I don't have a playtesting group by choice. I'm cool with a lot of people, but after being on a gaming team at one point with my buddies back in the day and dealing with a lot of BS I've dealt with personally that I'm not going to bring up right now within the team and outside of the team, just, oh my God, why am my nose running? Outside of the team, it just was one of those things like, you know what? I don't think I can ever do it again. Like, I make alliances and acquaintances with people, but I'm not playtesting all day and every day with people like that. Not anymore. I've done it enough in my 20s to the point where I just don't care anymore. Which is why I get the results I get when I go to events. I do well because I have the skill. The skill's still there, but I get edged out by the people who don't playtest. Case in point, when I went to YCS Houston, I did really well. 3 games I lost because of time. 3 games. Well, one I drew. 2 games I lost because of time. And if I would have been playing and had enough playtesting and had buddies to tell me, like, look, man, don't play in the time, I probably would have scooped a lot of my game 2s and went to game 3. And whatever would have happened would have happened. Also, too, the play error match that I went into time, if I would have just had more playtesting to not play error under pressure, I'd have been better off. So, and that's something you can't get from a spreadsheet. That's something I don't even think you can get from a coach. Can't nobody really handle your nerves, honestly. Sometimes when you're at a top table or you're on a bubble and you're just playing fast because you don't want to lose in time, you're going to forget stuff. And that's going to throw your match off a lot. And that's something a lot of players just don't think about when you're at the top tables or when you're doing well and the adrenaline's pumping, you worried about the clock, you don't think about your combo line. It's too much stuff going on. Your brain just malfunctions. But some people don't. They don't have that effect. They're just like, do. That's probably why they do drugs before their event. But that's besides the point. I don't do drugs before events. So, with all that being said, man, solid playtesting group matters the most. And I guess the last thing, too, now that I think about it, just come doing this video off the dome. Obviously, I don't have a script. I don't do my videos scripted. Another reason why the same people top a lot, they have the money to. And this is something I had a revelation of actually more recently this year, but especially after Houston. The reason why a lot of these same players do good at events consistently, because they're going to a lot of events consistently. Like, a lot of these dudes, let's be honest, I'm not going to say they're all rich, because I'm pretty sure they're all not, but they're not average earning individuals. An average earning individual is somebody like myself who can afford maybe 1 or 2 events a year, and that's it, on a special occasion even, or somebody with no responsibilities, but they have their life set up to the point they're making enough money to just travel to every event. But even then, I always wonder, and I talk to my buddies behind the scenes, like, do these dudes, how they jobs just let them call off like that? Sometimes they could be they dad could be their boss. That makes sense. Sometimes I think some people just, honestly, this is their life. This is how they make their income. A lot of them have full-time YouTube channels. So that's the reason why a lot of them top. They simply just have the money to. They have all the best cards. They can afford all the best decks. And they have a solid testing group. So when you have everything at your disposal, all you got to do is just show up, put in the work, and you might screw up your first event of the year. But after your 3rd and 4th event of the year that you travel to, like a YCS, especially a YCS overseas, where, not going to say everyone overseas are broke, because they're not, but let's be real, some countries people go to and they do well in, the country, it really, I'm going to go ahead and say it. The country is a country where people aren't blinging out their decks and they finna have every Fuwalos and things like that. And that's not to take away anything from the players who win those events. And that's not to say that people in those countries can't afford those decks, because obviously they can. I see it in the top tables. However, the average person from America is going to be able to afford something more expensive than the average person from a country who don't bring in enough revenue, unless you're playing against a rich kid from that country or a kid that's pretty well off in that country. Then that's different. It's a reason why in the OCG, I'm getting tongue tied. There's a reason why in the LCG, a lot of the players over there have infinite reprints from Konami, because Konami Japan knows, okay, we're gonna give you guys every rarity on release, so that way the people who can't really afford it can get it, and the people who can afford it get the best thing. So that all circles back to money. Money is the reason why a lot of people are able to do well, because they can afford to. Same thing like fitness and health. I can relate it to that too, because in fitness and health, if you guys know anything about fitness and health, there's obviously a cheap way to get results, which is like eating tuna, eating your chicken breast, eating white rice, beans, and steam some broccoli. But let's be real. Let's be real now. Unless you're cutting for a show or bodybuilding for a show, 99.9% of people who's into fitness ain't doing all that. So they go the expensive route, or they just go the eat whatever the F I want to do route. And they call it a freaking day. And that's why they have the bodies they have. And that's why people who are able to do what they do and get the results they get. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, man, don't beat yourself up, guys, for not doing well in events like you want to. And also, I want to say as well, like, if you want to do well, you just got to put in the work. If you got the money, and money's not an issue, you got to put in the work if you want to be good in anything. Not even just Yu-Gi-Oh! That's just life in general. Like, I've been playing this game for 20 years, and like I said, man, I done seen it all. I done been through it all. I done been at top tables. I done been through pro circles. I done been the coolest kid in the room. And some may even argue now, because of my YouTube channel with the Yu-Gi-Oh community, I'm still amongst the coolest kids in the room. Obviously, I'm not the biggest channel, but I have a channel and I have a voice. So take it from somebody who's been there, done that, and yeah, don't get salty when people beat you. It's not because they're cheating. It's not because of all of that. It's because they have enough time to put in the work. They have the money, and they have the resources, and the resources being playtesting group and things like that, and different people to bounce ideas. And a lot of times, and also too, a lot of these guys are young. They have the energy. The older you get, man, and a lot of older players can attest to this, bro. But after round 4, round 5, bro, you start getting hungry. And when I was young, I can just grind through hunger, no problem. And bro, if I don't eat nothing by round 4, I'm gonna have a massive headache, and I'm not gonna be in the best mood, and I'm not gonna be very friendly. So, nevertheless, man, listen to your bodies, and yeah, we'll go from there. So, like I said, this is just Road Hero spitballing. Want to give you guys this is just a video I've been wanting to talk about for a while now, and yeah, I'm signing out. Peace. I'm gonna see you guys in the next video.